Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to show you how to paint this lovely autumn landscape. So without further ado, let's get started. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. And for today's project, here are material that I am gonna use. I have Mungyo watercolor pen set. I have Princeton's brush size 8, and the paper I'm going to use is the Fabriano extra wide 100% cotton cold press paper. And the first step is I am going to tape down the paper so that I can have a nice and clean edges when I finish the painting. First, I am going to wet the paper with the clean water, and for the first layer we're going to do the wet on wet techniques. So first I'm going to use the cerulean blue for the sky, as you can see here, and for the sky is gonna take up only 1/3 of the paper, and for the rest I'm just gonna blend well with the water. And I also applied more blue on the two corners here to darken the sky layer a little bit. And now moving on, I'm going to paint the trees in the distance, and for this area I am going to use combination of different colors such as ochre, yellow ochre, olive green, orange, and maybe a little bit of red to create a variety of colors, because this is fall, and as you know, fall is very colorful when the leaves are changing the colors from green to yellow, maybe orange and red. So just choose whatever colors that are available to you, but make sure that it represents the color of autumn and you're good to go. And at this stage I am still doing wet on wet, so the sky layer is basically still a little bit damp. That's why you see when I apply the color for the trees, it tends to blend well with the paper and creates a very soft and blurry layers of the trees. And that is what I want to achieve here. Since these are the trees in the distance, I don't want it look too bold, too much of detail. It's just I would say it's just like a shadow of a bunch of trees in the distance far away. And now moving on, I am going to paint the trees in the front. This should be the focal point of the painting, so this is when I am going to add more details to make it look more focused. So basically I am just gonna use the same combination of colors like the tree in the back for the trees in the front, but the color is gonna be more bold. I am going to add more layers to have it more defined here, as you can see. And now I am just gonna apply another layer for the trees, but at this stage I want to make sure that the paper is completely dry so that I can have a more defined brush strokes. And as you can see here, I still basically use the same combination of colors that I used for in the earlier stage. But at this stage, when the paper is completely dry, you see those more defined brush strokes, and I try to paint it in the shape of the trees as well. And now I am going to move on to paint the water. So I am going to wet the area first, so it will be wet on wet. And for the water, it will be the reflection of the trees and the skies. So I'm going to make the reflection look very simple. So basically any colors that you use for the trees and for the sky, it will be reflected in the water. And I'm just going to use these vertical brush strokes to paint the water. And back to the trees. Here I want to make the ground a little bit more darker, so I'm going to apply another layers for the ground here. I'm using combination of orange and reddish brown for this layer. I try to make this layer a little bit darker compared to the other areas so that we can have the contrast, and also it also represent the shadow of the trees as well. Next up, I am going to add a couple of tree trunks and some of the branches for the trees as well. So just adding in the random places to represent some of the trees here, and that's enough. You don't really have to add a lot, just a couple of them to, define the trees a little bit. This is what I love about loose painting. Sometimes you don't really have to put too much effort or add too much details, but in the end, people still can tell what you are painting. Just like here, we are painting a bunch of trees, but we don't really have to paint every single trees. Just some of the just a layer using wet on wet, and then add a couple of detail using wet on dry, and then there you go, you have the illusion of a lot of trees. Watercolor tends to dry lighter compared to when it looks when it wet. So here I'm just basically adding more layers to the level of darkness that I want it to be, and the same as the reflection as well. You can see it's still very light and a little bit bland, so I'm going to add more layers to represent the shadows, and add a couple of details like also the tree trunks that's also reflected in the water as well, to make it look more defined and I would say more realistic. If it depends on how much realistic you want it to look. So here I am adding a couple of tree chunks and also more layers in the reflection. And I know that this is probably the first painting that after a very long break on YouTube, and I'm so sorry for that. Life has been so busy lately, especially with a baby. So I have a lot of idea for painting tutorials. I just don't have enough time to make it all happen. But I just want to say thank you to all of you who be patient enough, who surprise and still support me until this day. I will try to post more often as much as I can. Here back to the painting, I just want to add a couple of birds onto the sky to kind of add more movement into the painting. And that is the painting for today's tutorials. It is very simple, easy for all level painters. I hope that you can paint along with me. I really appreciate your support to my channel. I've been coming up with the ideas for the Christmas card this year, so I hope that I will post those tutorials soon. Now thank you so much for watching. I hope that you like these tutorials, and if you do, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That would help my channel a lot. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I will have more tutorials coming up for Christmas. And thank you again, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in my next one. Bye.